Hello everyone and welcome back to DMP2025, the Polish Drift Championship. We're here at round 2 at Katowice. It has been a crazy qualifying session. We're here at the semi-pro class and it has been insane. Qualifying yesterday, full of amazing driving, crazy scores and a lot of close calls. But now it's for the main action, the top 16, where we get into the battles. And this is where the drivers will be fighting for points, as it is a 4-round season this time around. So it's going to be a much harder fight. But my name is Brandon Carter. I'm going to be your commentator today. Unfortunately, Kean Reedy cannot make it, but it is going to be a great one. As you can see here, the track is looking insane. Everyone's working hard, and we've got plenty going on. The crowd is loving it. As you can see, we've got the car show on once again as normal. It's just going to be a great time, and we hope you enjoy the show today. And it is a great honor to be back once again. As you can see there, we've got a very complicated and technical layout this time around, very different compared to yesterday's. So it is definitely going to be an interesting one. As you can see there, we've got the Speed Games arena in the background. Once again, that'll be joining us for the entirety of the season. And as you can see down on the bottom right, we've got the marshals just painting the lines, making sure the track's nice and clear after practice, as well as the Merlot machines, which is one of our lovely sponsors, making sure the track's nice and clear. We've got no clear debris or rubber marbles sitting around. It is going to be a really, really good day, and we've got plenty of action in store for all of you. So make sure to put in the comments who you're supporting and get involved, and please go and check out the socials, as we have 2 amazing members on track doing our interviews and the socials as well. So currently we are just making sure everything's set up nice and ready so we can send our drivers down for their first battles. As you can see there, there's so much going on in the paddock. I mean, that's not even the main paddock. As you can see, it's just pulling up here. Then we've got our full 2025 season. Currently, we're Katowice at round 2. And it is going to be a really, really good one. As you can see, the next 2 rounds is where the fight is really going to matter for all of these drivers. As Patrick Detmer was our winner at round 1. So we'll have to see if he can take those points for round 2 once again. As we will be running top 16 from 12 o'clock Polish time for semi-pro, and then we'll be moving on to the top 32 pro for at 10 to 2 in Polish time once again, and then moving on to the top 16 at 20 past 4 Polish time. So if you're at the track, make sure to head over at 3:30 in Polish time in the afternoon for the paddock opening, so you can go and see all the cars, the drivers, get some signings, have some fun. So now we are just waiting to kick things off, as the sun is looking like it's gleaming today. I'm not too sure what the temperatures are looking like. Maybe I can get some information about that, as yesterday it was around 23 degrees Celsius, which made the track very interesting for the drivers. Not particularly too hot, but a lot of rubber being laid down, which did add quite a bit of grip to these cars.
Dzień dobry, cześć, Kamil Michałowski z tej strony. Ja dziś będę waszym przewodnikiem po tym wszystkim, co będzie działo się na transmisji. Jeśli oglądacie tę transmisję, to najprawdopodobniej jest to transmisja polska, ale jeśli macie ziomeczków, którzy są z zagranicy i chcieliby dołączyć do zabawy i obejrzeć sobie DMP, przypominamy także, że istnieje stream w języku angielskim, tam też będziemy was odsyłać. No, mamy tutaj całą śmietankę zawodników, nie tylko z Polski, ale i z zagranicy. No i ja dzisiaj będę próbował łapać ich na torze, żeby z nimi porozmawiać, a jeśli macie jakieś pytania, zostawiajcie je na czacie u naszych komentatorów, na pewno to będziemy przechwytywać.
Witam Was serdecznie, Wiktoria Rozenek. Ja relacjonuję dla Was na bieżąco wydarzenia z drugiej rundy w Katowicach na naszych socialach Driftingowych Mistrzostw Polski.
So there's 2 of our lovely staff members. So we've got Victoria, who is running our social media, And you also have Camel, who is our reporter, giving you all the
I
insight.
teraz chcielibyśmy przybliżyć wam nieco trasę, zaczynając od inicjacji. Auto uciekające powinno inicjować, wykorzystując połowę szerokości trasy, tak by goniący się tam zmieścił. Przed zoną numer 1 krótka strefa od hamowania, tam można dociągnąć się z hamulca ręcznego. Bardzo ważna rzecz, trzeba zostać długo na koncie, tak by idealnie złapać zonę numer 2, którą widzimy teraz. Ponownie, przechodząc z zony numer 2 do numer 3, duży kąt jest premiowany, wchodzimy do zony numer 3 i bardzo ważna rzecz pomiędzy trójką a czwórką. Nie należy ścinać linii, bowiem to zepsuje nam trasę przejazdu, a jak widzimy zona 4 jest tą zoną najdłuższą, najbardziej spektakularną, tam będzie najwięcej walki w parach. I kolejna szalenie istotna rzecz, zaraz to zobaczymy. Przy wyjściu z zony numer 4 należy kąt nieco wypłycić, tak żeby z impetem wpaść do zony numer 5, która kończy nam trasę właśnie w tym momencie. No i kolejna bardzo ważna rzecz, na którą zwracali uwagę sędziowie, nie można wyrzucać kół poza trasę, z czym dużo zawodników miało problem, ale myślę, że dzisiaj będzie perfekcyjnie, także już nie możemy doczekać się całej rywalizacji.
So there you have it. There is the track layout for this weekend. Very technical, very tight, looking very, very good. And as you can see there, if you were tuned in for qualifying, both in semi-pro and pro, there was plenty of frills and spills. We did have almost a couple of incidents, but there you can see our judging panel for the season. Amazing, amazing judges. Of course, doing one of the hardest jobs in drifting, I'd say. And a bunch of handsome chaps, if I do say so myself. So thank you to them for doing an amazing job. And without judges, we wouldn't have a judge sport, would we? But now we're going to be getting ready to get our drivers up onto the line. As you can see there, we're starting to get first couple of battles gridded up. As look at the paddock, just all the pit stops looking absolutely incredible. And obviously we've got all the branding going around the track this time around. As always, making everything just look that much better. And just look at that. You can see Nasser Halabali's pit setup there with the crazy graffiti style gazebo looking really, really cool. And everyone's just so on point with their pit setups this year because like I was saying yesterday in qualifying, it's all, as a driver, you want to be selling yourself in the best way you can. And the best way to do that is have a good self-image as well as having a good brand. And without that, you're not going to get very far in this sport. But there is your current driver standings for semi-pro. Patrick Detmer currently on top with 122 points. We got Wojciech with 96 and Maciusz with 88. So they're the top three. But you do have Magdalena sitting there in the fight in fourth with 70 points. So she's got a good chance of putting herself in a higher spot this season. So we'll have to see. As you can see there, our last set of drivers in the current standings. Plenty of talent and plenty of opportunities for every single one of these drivers. As it is only round 2, we still have 2 rounds after this round. So there is still a fight for everyone to get involved. And as you can see there, all the spectators just having a look around the car show. Got plenty to see. But here we have our main bracket for today for the top 16 semi-pro. Vaclav is going to be getting a bye run in his first battle. So he'll be moving on into the top 8 straight away. We have Damian Widzek versus Dariusz for our first full battle. We have Maximilian versus Mike Tesla. And then we have Wojciech Fabisiak with Bartos. Then we move over to the right side of the bracket. Patrick Detmer versus Magdalena. And then Wojciech versus Hurry Zemfir. Then Maciusz versus Sebastian. And then on the bottom there, our last battle will be... I just missed out on that. So here we go. Just moving on to Byron. Obviously, we're going to have Bartolomej versus Michael at the last battle. I wasn't the quickest there to get that done, but our top qualifier, I do believe, with Vaclav in that E46 compact, is going to be getting a bye run. So 450 horsepower, the lowest power car on the grid and still coming out as the top qualifier in semi-pro, which, like I was saying, it just goes to show power is not everything. It's all about driving skill. So he's going to use this as a kind of a test to see how the car's working. Obviously, you just have to initiate into the first corner on a by-run, and then you can shut it down. So you can just confirm that the car is fit to drive. So Vaclav will be moving on into the top 8. As you can see that, just doing exactly what he needs to do, saving his tires, saving his fuel for the top 8. Good lad. That's what we like to see, the Czech Republic driver making sure his car is on form. Very, very strange car, I've got to say so. Seeing an E46 compact with those panels just is a little bit cursed, if I do say so myself, but we love it. But now we have Dariusz in that crazy indigo S15 with a Rocket Bunny kit. And then in the lead, we do have Damian Wittek in that 1M, as I like to call it, E82. I've always known it as a 1M. I never knew the chassis name for it, so it's an E82. Very nice car indeed. But now here we go, your first battle of round 2 in semi-pro. So here we go, Damian in the lead. Dariusz in the chase. Nice initiation between the two of them. A little bit shallow in the lead so far in the first clip, but manages to clip out of clip 2 very nicely, out of clip 3 perfect. But look at this, Matthews is not letting him go as he come around into outside zone 4. Kind of a bit wavery in the chase though so far as he comes around into the last transition towards 5. Could be a bit closer, losing proximity as they come across the line. So as you can see here, Damian doing a good job on the initiation. Could have been a little bit deeper, but Matthews trying to find the pocket. But unfortunately, just struggling to find the proximity. Doing well here in the midsection of the track. But once again, the lead is good. And he's just not able to get the dive on what he's looking for. As they come around into 4, you can just see, I mean, the lead going into outside zone 4 was not the best line. Was a bit inside, and as you can see here, Damian pulling out of 4 as well towards the end. So it wasn't the cleanest of leads going into outside zone 4, and it is quite an important place to get right, as it does set up for outside zone 5. So Matthews trying to do the best he can in that situation in the chase. So it'll be all down to who does the better lead, I would say, at this point. But now we have Damian in the chase with Dariusz in the lead. So Mr. Malachinsky in that Rocket Bunny S15, now leading in that E82 as they come and fire it into the first zone. Lovely first zone there. Matthews coming around into out of 2. Lovely lead line so far, but Damian's kind of struggling to get the proximity once again. So could it be down lead to lead this time around as they come around outside zone 4? But Matthews kind of is wavering with that outside line as he comes around now into 5. But Damian's just kind of nowhere to be seen once again, just like Matthews was in the chase. So it could go all down to lead. So looking back at this, as you can see there, Matthews getting a nice initiation, filling out outside zone 1 perfectly in that crazy S15 as he comes around into outside zone 2. But Damian is just kind of nowhere to be seen. Can't get the proximity, having to kind of shallow up the angle to try and get the proximity back. And unfortunately, it just wasn't working out as they come around into 4. As you can see there, Matthews getting a nice line into there. Could have been a little bit deeper, but Damian trying his hardest, getting really deep in there, basically doing a lead line behind the chase. But there's nothing really to say about Matthews' lead to fault, really. Just kind of missing a bit of proximity into outside 5. But once again, Damian wasn't really there for the argument to be won. So I feel like both the chases were quite weak, and it's all going to come down to the leads at this point. But once again, this is the first battle of the day. So they're going to be shaking off a bit. So who will be moving on? And it will be Dariusz Malachinski in that Indico Spot of Motorsport S15. So unfortunately, that will be the end of Damien's weekend, but a really good fight regardless. So good first battle there. Once again, I do think it will be coming down to the lead in this round in semi-pro. But we will have to see. I could be biting my own words by the end of this event. So now we have our next battle lined up at the start line, at our modal inflatable start line. Gorgeous thing. With my Tesla in the chase in that E46 representing Ukraine, with this gorgeous S14 by Maximilian representing ECU Master and being teammates in Max Racing. So Maximilian will be leading out Mike. So we got a crazy battle with two gorgeous cars coming up. Here we go, this S14 firing it down the main straight with the E46 in tow. Bit shallow there in outside zone 1 so far, a little bit shallow in outside zone 2 as well. Big transition there from Maximilian, but Mike Tesla is kind of a bit shallow on the line and has to cut a lot of the track as it comes around now. Maximilian doing a good job though as they come around in towards outside zone 5. Can he keep the proximity into 5? Yes he can, but Mike Tesla is nowhere to be seen. Looking back into the replay now, you can just see Maximilian struggling even in qualifying with that first outside zone, kind of treating it like a touch and go. Mike trying to get up onto the door, but as you can see, he's just too inside on the track and kind of has to come and almost straighten in some form. But Maximilian doing a good job of trying to get that car into outside zone 4. And just you can see, Mike Tesla just kind of nowhere to be seen in this battle as he tries his hardest to do a good chase. But Maximilian just kind of pulling away. So now it will come down to the second half of this battle. Obviously, they're just making sure that the cars are nice and cool before we send them down the straight once again. So here we go, Mike Tesla in the lead, Maximilian in the chase. Here we go, E46 versus S14 as they initiate into outside zone 1. Nice there from Mike Tesla in outside zone 1, but Maximilian trying to get the proximity as they transition now. Look at the transition from Maximilian as they come around into outside zone 4. Doing a good job so far. Lovely line there from the lead driver, Mike Tesla, as they come around now into the last transition to outer zone 5, but Maximilian kind of losing a bit of proximity there as he transitioned a bit too early. So looking into this run, Mike Tesla does get the stronger initiation compared to Maximilian's lead, but look at that transition from Maximilian in that S14, just absolutely putting it into the pocket. Does fall a bit behind there in this second transition though, as they come around into 4. Mike doing a really nice job through outside zone 4, but Maximilian trying to find the pocket, getting the proximity onto the door. But this is kind of where it falls apart for Maximilian's chase. He loads up and just transitions a little bit too early, and that does lose him a lot of proximity in the chase. But Mike Tesla doing a really good job there in the lead. So once again, it's going to be down to lead, I'd say. And a really good job, though, from Maximilian in the chase there. But it is going to be going to Maximilian, so the closer proximity overall is going to put him into favor. So really good job there for Maximilian getting the win. Mike Tesla, unfortunately, just not being able to do enough in his chase to pull it out of the bag. So we'll see him next round. Very nice driving, though, between the two of them. But now we have Bartos in that crazy 1,000 horsepower E92 with the hand controls Sorry, the feet controls. I do apologize. And we have Wojciech Fabiszak in that lovely S15, looking absolutely stunning. Two very talented drivers, and obviously Bartos proving that anyone can do anything if they really want to. But here we go as they send it down the main straight. There is a massive power difference between these two cars, so it's going to be very interesting to see what happens as they go to outside zone 1. Bartos all just making contact into the back of that S15. A very unfortunate start to this battle. And as you can see there, not the most ideal thing. So we get to see what happened as he went into outside zone 1. Bartos just had more pace, more forward bite, and obviously that was front wheel to rear wheel contact as well. So hopefully nothing's been shunted too much. Wojciech Fabiszak does save the car from going into those concrete barriers, so good reactions from him there. Very, very unfortunate though. And this is what I mean, the power difference between these two cars can really make a difference. And as you can see there, I don't think Bartos was expecting to have that much more pace. So we'll have to see what is going to be going on with these two cars while we get them recovered and just check for any major damage. As you can see there, we've got our recovery truck onto the track very quickly as well. Got all our marshals, making sure everyone's okay, making sure the drivers aren't injured or hurt. I mean, that's basically the same word, ain't it? Does look like Wojciech Fabiszak's got his car up and going. As you can see here, just a little highlight of our top qualifiers, Byron, and the first battle as well. So it is going to be Bartos under fault there. So it will be interesting to see what happens as we move on. As you can see there, just a good first battle there between these two drivers. Two very different chassis as well. Obviously the E82s getting more increasingly popular, and then obviously you've got the legendary S15. I'm a bit biased to the S15s in the sense of how much I love them, purely because that's what I compete with. So I do like my S15s, but I wouldn't mind having a BMW one day. It's just BMW parts are not the one. They're not cheap. But then we've got the battle with Maximilian and Mike Tesla. Two gorgeous looking cars, two really nice liveries. As you can see there, that mistake from Mike is possibly what cost him the battle. But we do have very interesting set of battles going on today. As you can see there, Patrick Detmer warming up his tyres. Round 1 winner in semi-pro. So it does look like we will, while they sort out the cars, we will be moving on to our next battle. As we have Magdalena in that Indigo S15 matching with Matouche. Really, really nice car. Obviously, she's always the happiest person on the grid, with Patrick Detmer in that E36. Gorgeous car, giving us a little wave there. And of course, he is our round 1 winner, so we'll have to see if he can keep that pace up for the rest of the season. As our start line marshal gets them prepared to send it down the main straight. Here we go, Patrick versus Magdalena. Patrick leading in Here we go. Nice flick initiation between the two of these drivers. Magdalena a little bit further behind, but Patrick doing a good job in the lead. Maybe a bit of a bobble and waver in outer 2. They're doing a good job of recovering that lead line as they come around into outside zone 4. But look at Magdalena trying to get the pocket. Oh, but just shuts it down behind. Very, very unfortunate there as Patrick just drives off. So that will be an advantage to Patrick. Moving into the second half of the battle. I just got a confirmation from one of our judges, from our judge Matty, that Bartos is blamed for the contact as he had too much speed and was on the wrong line in the chase. So it's good that good to know. Moving on to the second half of that battle. But look at Patrick Detmer just absolutely flying in this first half of this battle. Magdalena unfortunately does shut it down in the chase, so she's got to hope that Patrick Detmer makes a mistake himself. As we have them just waiting to make sure that they're ready to go. But here we go, Magdalena in the lead in that S15. Patrick Detmer in the chase in that E36. Patrick's gonna possibly have been told by Spotter that he has got all of the world to work with. So he's gonna play it safe and not get too crazy in the chase as Magdalena does drop tires in out of 3 as she tries to put on the best lead she can as they come around outside zone 4, doing a lovely job between the two of them so far. Oh, Magdalena almost touching the wall there as they come around to outside zone 5. Patrick Detmer doing a clinical chase, just doing everything he needed to do, and Magdalena collecting a cone there. But as you can see, Patrick just not getting too close, just being present. He doesn't have to do anything crazy. Spars probably told him, look, Magdalena did shut down in the chase, so you have got the advantage, so don't go too crazy. And as you can see there, Magdalena trying her hardest to put on the best lead she can to try and shake off Patrick. Getting very close to that ball there, but Patrick's just doing what he has to do. I'd say that is a very, very smart move from Patrick. So there we have it, both Magdalena and Patrick Detmer, who is moving on into the top 8. I think Magdalena knows it. I think Patrick knows it. Moving on is Patrick Detmer. So, lovely stuff there. Patrick Detmer moving on into the top 8. But now we have Wojciech Katowice in the lead with that gorgeous, gorgeous E46 with Hurray Zamfir in the chase. Here we go, 2 different BMWs, one E46, one E36, initiated into outside zone 1. Zamfir kind of nowhere to be seen though, as they come around into outer zone 3. Lovely transition there, but maybe a bit too snappy. Does kind of check up in the lead, but manages to keep it going as they come around outside zone 4. Has to try and get the car to float back as they come around into outside zone 5, just almost missing outside zone 5. So not the best of leads, definitely a bit of a scrappy one there. I just don't think he wanted to be doing, but Zamfir kind of trying his hardest to keep up with that E36. Unfortunately, just kept getting caught out and having to reposition and kind of get another opportunity to dive. As you can see there, as they come around to the exit of outside zone 4, Roy just really struggling to find the pace to keep up with that E36. So we'll have to see what they do in this second half. as we now have Wojciech in the chase. So Huey will be doing his lead as we switch them around and send them down the main straight, firing it into outside zone 1. Lovely stuff there from Zamfir. So far in the lead, could have been a bit deeper on outside zone 2. They're doing a good job, just dropping tyres though as they go into 3. But Wojciech doing a good job in the chase so far, doing really good proximity while getting too close, as he's going to be told that Zamfir was a bit further behind in his chase. But once again, will it come back to lead, or will that chase secure the top 8? We'll have to see. Wojciech doing the best he can to secure that top 8. As you can see there, just dropping tyres in outside zone 3. Having a bit of a struggle there, but does a really good job getting through 4. Keeps it nice and deep throughout that zone. But Wojciech is right there. But he does lose a bit of proximity as they come through over 5. And Wojciech's lead obviously not being the best, being a bit scrappy. So will that chase be enough? As we have them back at just outside of outside zone 4. So there you see the grandstand behind these two amazing drivers with our fans having a great time as they share a wholesome moment. It's good to see that drivers just really love what they do and they don't hold anything against each other. They do it for the fans. Two very, very nice cars though, but only one can move on into the top 8. As we just wait for our judges to have a look at those replays, the cameras, all of the angles, just so they can get a clear decider on who will be moving on. I've got to say, I do really, really like the colour scheming on Zamfir's car. It is gorgeous, but who's moving on into the top 8 is Wojciech. Moving on, the Polish national driver in that M3 GTR. Amazing stuff there from Wojciech, putting on just the better chase. But now we move back to the start line and we do have the leaf blowers out to cool down the drivers, because it does get hot in those cars with Sebastian in that E46. Really cool livery as well. And we have in the lead Matusz in that M3 E92 with the 777 number on the car. So as our start line marshal, make sure that both drivers are ready. We get the lights red, now we go green. Let's see him get mean. With Matusz in the lead, Sebastian in the chase. Nice initiation there, could have been a bit deeper into outside zone 1. Oh, just almost getting a bit caught up there. Maybe a little bit too much angle from Sebastian. Or from Matusz, should I say, as Sebastian tries to get a proximity as they come. Oh, but maybe a little bit of contact as they come around outside zone 4. Getting a bit too aggressive from Sebastian there as he comes around outside zone 5 and across the line. A lot happened there in that run, so let's go and break that down. So good driving so far between the two drivers, but it does look like he's slightly over angles in the lead, which chokes both of them up. But they managed to get into outside zone 3 nicely. But as you can see here, Sebastian trying to go for the dive on the inside, does make contact, but luckily Matusz doing a good job of keeping it together and continues the run. But obviously any contact is going to harshly slim your chances of being able to move on. So at this point, Sebastian's going to be thinking, right, I've got to put on the best lead of my life and hope that Matusz does a mistake. And this is the thing, you go too deep, what should I say, you go too shallow and start cutting a bit of the track to get proximity, and mistakes happen very quickly. And it happens a lot quicker than you'd think. But as we have the lights go red now we go green. Here we go, Sebastian back in the lead once again. Lovely stuff though from Sebastian in the lead, but she's getting a bit caught up there in the chase as they come through outside zone 3. Lovely stuff between the two of them so far as they come around outside zone 4. Sebastian putting on a really good lead here so far for Machu's to chase, but Machu's kind of nowhere to be seen as they come around outside zone 5. So looking back at this run, so Sebastian does have a little bit of a later initiation than Machu's. And he does get a little bit caught up in the chase there and has to try and find the proximity, but as Sebastian's going around into outside zone 4, he can't find the proximity, can't get the pocket. And as you can see there, he's just not been able to get the dive. And as he comes around towards the finish line, he's just kind of left behind. But then is the contact from Sebastian going to outweigh that chase? We will have to see. As we have them both back at our results area, which is at outside zone 4. So moving on into the top 8 is Matus. So that contact from Sebastian definitely hurting his battle, and unfortunately that will be the end of his weekend, but really good drive between the two of them. So we'll be seeing Matus in the top 8 as he just checks his panels where the contact was made, just to make sure everything's all right. I think at that point he's just thinking, is it all still held together? Two really, really nice cars, two great drivers. But now we have the second half of Wojciech Fawczak's and Bartos's battle. Obviously Bartos being at fault for the contact in the first half towards the initiation. So it is all in Fawczak's hands, but obviously still, as you can see there, the front of his car kind of being held together by tape and hopes and dreams. And Fawczak's kind of got the world is his oyster right now. Can do what he wants with this battle, but obviously there is still the power difference. So will he get gapped, or will he stick with him as they come around into outside zone 1? Doing a good job so far between the two of them. Lovely lead line from Bartos, but Fawczak doing a really good job in the chase, keeping up with that 1,000 horsepower E92. And this is where tight technical tracks kind of make power differences kind of obsolete. As you can see there, Wojciech doing a really good job there in the chase. So as they come around into outside zone 2, Bartos doing a really good job in the lead. But as they come around into outside zone 4, Wojciech starts finding that proximity and finding the pocket. Really, really good, safe, clean chase there from Fawczak. So as a very, very good second half of that battle. As we have them both pulling back up to line, as you can see, the front of Bartos' car definitely has seen better days. And the crash bar is actually bent. And it's good to see that they're, even after that contact, still good sports. And moving on into the top 8 is Wojciech Fawczak. Moving on, unfortunately that contact from Bartos, that mistake being made, unfortunately did knock him out. But really good effort in his lead, putting on a textbook lead for Fawczak to chase. So we'll see him at round 3 as we get them sent back into the pits. So now back at the line, we have Michael Godwitz. Godwitzki, sorry. Jesus, pronunciation is not my strong suit. So he'll be chasing And then in the lead, we do have Bartolomej in the lead in that M2 without the wing this time. He was running a wing yesterday, so interesting that he's taking it off. So here we go, Michael in the chase. And Bartolomej in the lead. Obviously, that V8 is absolutely screaming in that M2. Oh, but look at the proximity. Almost straight line in that S13 in the chase as they come around into outside zone 4. Oliver loses a bit of ground, but Bartolomej doing a good job in the lead so far. As we transition now in towards 5. And Michael kind of just getting a bit caught up with from his own pace. So looking into the initiation into outside zone 1, you can see Michael just kind of trying to get the dive through the transition, but it doesn't quite work out. Bartolomej doing a good job in the lead. Could have been a little bit deeper in the into outside zone 3, but he's still doing the correct line. As Michael does try to get the proximity, as you can see here, gets the dive. Does get up towards the door, but as they come around into this transition, he preloads the transition a little bit too much and ends up in the wrong section of the track, which loses a lot of proximity. So now we have Michael in the lead with Bartolomej in the chase. So we'll have to see what they can do with this second half of the battle. So here we go, Michael in that S13, leading in that M2, driven by Bartolomej. Good first outside zone, but unfortunately Michael just not getting into outside zone 2 or 3. But currently his line is just not where the judges want it to be. We're getting good speed and pace into outside zone 4. Bartolomej really struggling to get the pace to find the door. Michael, as he come across the line, I do think though there was a lot of, as he missed outside zone 2 and 3, Michael, as you can see, not much angle going through there. As he comes around, he's just kind of cutting the track, and it does make Bartolomej have to work harder to get the proximity. So we'll have to see what the judges think of that. Obviously, Michael doing a good job getting into 4, maybe a bit shallow at the start, and then gets deep, does drop a tyre. As they come around, Bartolomej just trying to get the proximity over, but can't get the pace to match it. I do think Michael could have punished himself a bit there at the start of this second half. So there we have Bartolomej and Michael. Moving on into the top 8 is Bartolomej in that M2. So Michael just making too many mistakes to move on, but putting up a really good fight regardless. So we'll be seeing him in that M2 in the top 8. As we get them sent back so they can go and chill out for a minute. So at the line now, we once again have another. We have Dariusz in that S15 in a Byron. So we're going to be seeing him into a Byron, which means, oh no, this is the top 8, I think. Yes, it is. So we are into the top 8 now. So Dariusz getting a Byron. So from the looks of this, the driver who was meant to be going against has had a mechanical, and he is going to be going for a full run and testing out the car. Definitely an interesting initiation there from those as he comes around. He's having a good time, he's having a party. So as you can see here, he does a really interesting late initiation with a big set of flicks. Puts the car onto a lot of angle, but manages to make it work. As you can see, you don't have to, in a buy run the full course. But he thought, nah, I'm going to put on a show. I'm going to kind of get a lay of the land, get this sense of grip. So, very smart move there from Matus. Apologies, I was just rearranging my water bottles. Commentating is very rough on the vocals. Would you have it? So we now have Wojciech Fabisiak in the chase with Maximilian in the lead. 2 S chassis, 1 S14, 1 S15. This is going to be an interesting one. 2 beautiful looking cars. And 2 very talented drivers. But there is also a bit of a horsepower difference between the 2 as we have them go down the main straight now. Maximilian initiating in, still struggling to get through outside zone 1 properly, but manages to fill outside zone 2 nicely. Getting into 3, filling that out nicely as they now transition into 4. That big outside zone, but look at Fabisiak on the door of Maximilian. Decides to lose his ground a little bit as he comes around into the last transition and across the line. So Fabisiak doing a good job in the chase, but could have been closer from the start, as Maximilian does seem to be very consistent throughout this first section of the track. As you can see, going in towards 3, this is where Fabisiak starts to slowly reel him in. Coming around into 4. Maximilian just dialing on that angle, and Fabisiak trying to get the dive into the pocket, but does have to back off a little bit, but manages to pull away. So we'll have to see what happens now that we've flipped them back around. As you can see there, we have our Speed Games Arena doing drift taxis. So if you want to go and experience some drifting, and you're coming to any of the other rounds, make sure to come through and come and experience drifting through our drift taxi service with Speed Games. It's good fun. But now we have Wojciech Fabisiak in the lead with Maximilian in the chase. Fabisiak does have a bit of work to do in the lead. There we go, 2 S chassis firing it down the main straight. Nice initiation from Fabisiak, but look at Maximilian right there on the pocket of that S15. Coming around into outside zone 3, perfect between the 2 of these. Really good mimicking from Maximilian there. That is what the judges want to see. He does have to cut a bit of the track in 4 to get the proximity as he comes around into outside zone 5 and gets the job done. Very nice lead there from Fabian. But also, no, sorry, Wojciech. Don't know where I got Fabian from. Very nice lead there from Wojciech. But at the same time, Maximilian was right there with him the whole way. Amazing mimicking there and transition timing from that ECU Master S14. But look at the outside line that Wojciech gets in that S15. And Maximilian, of course, has to sacrifice his line to keep the proximity, but manages to make it work as they come across the line through 5. It could have been a bit deeper there from Wojciech. So definitely an interesting battle to say the least, but we'll have to see who moves on into the top 8. as people have them both out of their cars. So moving on into the top 8 is Maximilian Mekos taking the win and putting it on a consistent lead and chase. Wojciech Fabersiak doing a really good job and having a solid top 8 battle there, having a good fight. So we'll be seeing him in the top 4. So we have another Wojciech, but this time in an M3 GTR. And obviously did a really good job in the previous battle, but it's kind of looking like a bit of deja vu right now. Back to round 1 with Patrick Detmer in the lead and Wojciech in the chase. These two once again going up against each other to get that top spot. So now we'll see what happens once again as they have a little rematch as the lights go green. Here we go, 2 E36s, 2 very interesting cars. Patrick Detmer doing a nice initiation there, but Wojciech making sure he's right there in the pocket. Patrick Detmer as he come around into outside zone 3, doing a really good job of both lead and chase. Into outside zone 4 now, lovely outside line there from Patrick, but Wojciech is right there with him as he come around into outside zone 5 and across the line. Wojciech doing a really good job there in the chase, pushing really hard from the start. But Patrick Detmer putting on a really good lead once again. And look at this, Patrick just right on that outside line, but Wojciech just right there. Which is what we want to be seeing, but has to kind of check up to stop him from hitting Patrick in that last transition before going into 4. But as they come around, lovely proximity there from Wojciech. Pulling through and does lose a bit of proximity going in towards 5. But makes it work really well. So now we'll have them back at the line once again. And we'll get them sent off into the second half of the battle with Patrick Detmer in the lead, Wojciech in, Patrick Detmer in the chase, Wojciech in the lead. Lovely initiation there in that M3 GTR. Around outside zone 2, a little bit weaker than Patrick's was, but manages to make it work as he comes through 3 to 4. Patrick is right there though on the side of that M3. Coming around outside zone 4, now transitioning into out zone 5, but Patrick is right there on the pocket, doing exactly what he needed to do. Really good drive between 2 of these drivers. So as you can see there, Patrick does get left a little bit on the start, but manages to find the proximity very quickly. Just have to cut a bit of the track and his line to do it. But once he finds that proximity, he stays there with it. As you can see, going through outside zone 4, Wojciech doing an amazing job in the lead, keeping it nice and smooth. But Patrick just not letting him go as they went around and across to 5. And that is the place where people seem to be losing a lot of their proximity. So now we have both of these drivers waiting for their results. 2 E36s, 2 amazing drivers, but only one can move on. Obviously we've got 2 crazy looking cars. I mean, the E36 is essentially God's chassis, according to many of my friends in Scotland, and it's clearly on show today that it is. But we're just waiting on our judges to make sure they've got the correct decision before we move them on into their next set of battles. So it is going to be a one more. Oh, never mind. Never mind. It is going to Patrick Detmer, moving on into the top 4. Just had a little upsie there. But congratulations to Patrick Detmer, moving on once again, taking the win over Wojciech. So that's 2 rounds in a row now that they have met, and Patrick has gone on top. So Wojciech's going to be moving on into round 3, trying to get some vengeance in a friendly competition way. But we have Bartolomej now in the chase in that M2 with Matish in that 777 M3 E92. So Bartolomej really having to put up a fight this weekend. We'll see what he can do. As the lights now go green, Bartolomej in the chase. Oh, a little bit of a check-up there potentially on the start line. I'm not too sure. I didn't hear engines going for a minute. But Bartolomej trying to get into the pocket of Matus's E92 as they come around into outside zone 4. Doing a good job. Oh, just pulling out of outside zone 4. Really struggling to get it back in, but manages to do it as Bartolomej tries to keep up in the chase and across the line. So as you can see here, Bartolomej really trying to get onto the pocket from the start. But as they come through the second transition, it does seem to lose quite a bit of proximity. As you can see there, Matus does pull a little bit of proximity away, but does cut the track and was pulling out of outside zone 4. Bartolomej trying his hardest though to get the proximity back and just couldn't find it. So now we've switched them around. Bartolomej in the lead, Matus in the chase. Go, moving on to the second half of this battle. M2 firing it down towards outside zone 1. Oh, but Matus shuts down. Could there be a mechanical fault there with Matus's car? As Bartolomej just glides on through, and he just has to finish the run. Very interesting. So as you can see there, just not doing anything at all to get the car going. So potentially could have snapped a shaft. Anything could have happened on that start line. Maybe when he put the power down, something just didn't want to play ball and broke. But that does give Bartolomej the opportunity just to drive away and finish his victory lap, essentially. Very, very unfortunate end to that battle. So we'll have to see what the cause of that was. And of course, Bartolomej is moving on into the top 4. Not the most favourite way for a driver to move on, but he is happy regardless.
Mikster jest z nami. Dzień dobry. Dzień dobry, witam. Nie wiem, czy taki dobry, ale dzień dobry, witam. No to zawody, to wiesz, kwalifikacje kwalifikacjami, one rządzą się swoimi prawami. Poza tym, poczekaj, jeździłeś tu w zeszłym roku, ja dobrze pamiętam. Tak.
Jak się jeździło w zeszłym roku względem tego, jak się jeździło w tym?
W zeszłym roku mam wrażenie, że było troszkę szybciej, bo ten tor był jednak troszkę szerszy. No i druga sprawa, że płyty betonowe, po których się jeździło, auto podskakiwało, gdzieś tam półosie cierpiały, przez które zresztą przegrałem zawody. W tym roku w drugą stronę jeździmy dosyć wąsko, trzeba pilnować kąta, trzeba uważać, także trzeba się wjeździć. Myślałem, że jestem wjeżdżony, ale wynik kwalifikacji powiedział, że nie do końca być może, więc teraz będziemy analizować, ale jak to mówią, zawody są jutro.
No ale ta dzika karta na te Katowice, no nie uwierzę, że nie była właśnie takim, wiesz, przyczynkiem do takiego kopa, żeby tutaj dać, no wiesz, 500%, proszę pana.
Oczywiście jest tak, że ja wczoraj o 3:00 w nocy tutaj przyjeżdżałem, bo oklejaliśmy auto, w ogóle wszystko na ostatnią chwilę oczywiście, więc, ale fajnie, że tu jestem. Cieszę się, że jestem w jutrzejszych zawodach, cieszę się, że mogę rywalizować i fajnie, że tu jestem. Mam nadzieję, że będę do końca sezonu już w DMP i że ta dzika karta się przerodzi jednak w coś więcej. Natomiast cieszymy się chwilą, cieszymy się tym, że jest słońce, że jest fajnie i że jutro pokazujemy 100% swoich możliwości.
No dobrze, trzymamy kciuki za jutro. Kickster był z nami, wielkie dzięki.
Dzięki wielkie, pozdrawiam.
So, lovely little interview there. Just speaking with Sebastian, just having a little chat about how he's feeling about being at Katowice, and he's having a great time enjoying his time here. And why wouldn't you? It's drifting. You're out on airstrip. You're in one of the most beautiful cities in Poland. You can't go wrong, really, can you? It's always going to be a good weekend. But now we have our top 4 moving on into it. So we've got Darius going against Maximilian, and then we have Patrick Demo versus Bartolomej. It is going to be a very, very interesting top 4 this is, and obviously this has gone really quickly. Well, you know what they say, time goes fast when you're having fun. And it's drifting. We're always having fun. As you can see there, we have got Darius in that S15 and Maximilian in the lead in that S14A with the ECU Master logos all up the side, looking very, very beautiful as we just await for them to get ready and confirm that they are ready to go. Starline Marshall gets them ready, and here we go. Moving on to our first top 4 battle of the day. Here we go. Big initiation there from Maximilian. Looking very, very good though between the two of them as Darius tries to get the proximity coming around into outside zone 4. But look at this, the S14 is getting pushed around by the S15 in outside zone 4. Loses a bit of ground in the chase, but as they come around into outside zone 5, does a really good job of pulling a bit of a gap there on the chase. So coming around, you can see a little bit hesitant on the initiation in the chase. But that S14 just absolutely ripping. Could have been deeper into outside zone 2. But as you can see, good, clean proximity so far. And this is when he gets the dive going on into outside zone 4. Getting right there into the pocket, but does have to dial on a little bit more angle, which does lose him a bit of some room. But he was deeper into outside zone 4 than Maximilian was. As they come around across the transition, just lost a lot of room. But once again, the lead wasn't in all of the zones the way the judges would have wanted him to be. Could have been a lot deeper in a lot of them. So we'll have to see what they think. As you can see there, we got our big fan just cooling the intercoolers now. Here we go. So Darius in the lead, Maximilian in the chase. Coming around now into the initiation. Big flick there from Darius. Maximilian trying to keep up as they come around into outside zone 2. Really good job so far. But look at Maximilian doing amazing mimicking. A good transition time, but struggling to get a proximity. Has to sacrifice his line. Doing get the proximity once again, but Darius doing a solid lead as they come around into 5 and across the line. So as you can see here, Darius doing a solid job through that initiation, through outside zone 1. Doing a good job through outside zone 2 as well. And as they come around, does just collect out of 3. And Maximilian trying his hardest to get the proximity. As they come around into 4, really good entry into that section of the track. We do have a nice bit of proximity there from Maximilian up on the door of that S15, but as you can see, he does get a little bit caught up in that last transition and does lose a lot of proximity. So we'll have to see what the judges think. As you can see there, who is moving on into... There you go, Darius moving on to the final. Maximilian will be going into the battle for 3rd. I don't know if they've got their results yet. I think they're still waiting on it. Yes, there we go. So, yep, Darius moving on into the final. Maximilian will be still getting a chance at a podium for the battle for 3rd. So now we've just got to find out who is going to be filling those next 2 battles. But good job between those 2 drivers. Good battle. So here we go. We've got Bartolomej in the chase. And then we've got Patrick Demmer in the lead. Your last round 1 winner in semi-pro. Can he do it again? Can he get into the final and take that top spot once again? We'll have to see, because Patrick Demmer is a man possessed. He is a man on a mission. He wants those points. Here we go. As you can see, Bartolomej getting a little bit of a little jump there to try and stick with Patrick as he come around into the initiation. But look at Bartolomej on the door. Patrick Demmer as they come around to outside zone 2. This is actually the closest chase we've seen so far today, ladies and gentlemen. As they come around into outside zone 4, loses a little bit of proximity as he comes around now in the exit of outside zone 4. Bartolomej doing a really good job of the chase as Patrick Demmer comes across the line. Wow, Bartolomej, hats off to you. That was very good proximity in the start of the battle. As you can see that, getting right in towards that pocket. Getting that proximity. But does lose a little bit of ground going into out of 4. Patrick Demmer just doing a solid lead again once as always. As they come around into the last transition, that is where Bartolomej really does struggle to get a proximity built up. So now that we have Bartolomej in the lead and Patrick Demmer in the chase, Patrick does have a little bit of work cut out for him this time around. So we'll have to see what they can do as Bartolomej now in the lead in that M2. Patrick right there though, making sure he is up and close with him. Coming around into out 2. Look at this from Patrick Demmer though, right there with Bartolomej as he comes around into out 4. This is political chase driving from Patrick Demmer, doing exactly what he needs to do. But Bartolomej putting on a really nice lead so far. Could have been a little bit deeper into out 5. This one's going to be a close one. So as you can see here, going into 1, lots of speed and commitment between the both of these drivers. And then Patrick sees the opportunity as Bartolomej does drop a tyre a little bit there. Patrick just getting right up in there on the side of that M2. As they come around into out 4. Patrick just... wow. He's a very, very clinical chase driver. And that is I'm a big fan of that. But as you can see there, Bartolomej doing a really good job in that lead. Keeping it nice and fast and smooth. But once again, there can only be one winner. As we have them both at our results area. As we hit on our result, who is moving on into the final? Patrick's got his eyes covered. He's nervous. This is a big fight for points. Moving on into the final. Patrick Detmer moving on into the final. Once again, back-to-back finals in round 2 and 1. As you can see, Patrick is absolutely stoked. Bartolomej now also getting a chance to go into...
Karolina Pilarczyk is here with us. Hi.
Hi.
So, a little bit happy, a little bit sad after the qualifications?
Yes, true, both. I had a lot of fun, so that's why I'm happy. The layout is amazing, the drivers are amazing, but unfortunately I didn't, I'm not in top 32, so I'm not continuing the competition. I'm not in the battles tomorrow, but I had fun. I was really enjoying it, that's why I'm satisfied.
The level of the battles in the qualification, it's so high. So right now we have around 50 drivers on the grid. The level it's from the top to top.
Very high. We have a lot of champions here, so really they have a lot of they have a great car, they have a great skills, the great team, and you are really enjoying watching it. This is something amazing. This level of these competitions is so high. Then you have to be prepared. We were testing the car during the competition because unfortunately I didn't have too much practice session before, so we test the car and we see that it's not a good strategy because with such great drivers you cannot do it. You should be really good prepared. Oh well, next time will be better.
And I can tell you that she knows what she's talking about because she was driving in United States. So can we compare this?
Somehow yes, but we always had a high level of drifting in Poland. We have amazing drivers. Also the Ukraine, Litva, etc. They have Lithuania. They have amazing drivers. But that's true. This is a little bit different thing. I mean, in the USA, they have a very high skill and amazing show on the racetrack, but also in the paddock. And the audience and people, they love them. They are very numerous when they are coming. Here in Poland, we have the same level or even sometimes higher. We have great drivers. We have great cars. But unfortunately, still, the drifting is not so popular that the audience is so numerous. So I hope that next time people will see this, will enjoy it. A lot of people are coming to me and telling me, oh, I was watching this live or in the internet. This, what I feel here, being on site, it's completely different story. You have to feel it, you have to smell it. This is something amazing. When the cars are starting their engine, the earth is shaking, you should feel it. You will not have these emotions watching this in the internet. Come enjoy drifting with us.
Right now we're in Katowice, but we will have 2 more rounds, one in Kielce and the last one in Poznań. You will be there?
Of course, I cannot miss it.
We will be there, so you have to be there. Thank you, Karolina.
That's correct, you have to be there.
So there you have a really good interview there with Karolina. And the passion, the dedication and love she has for this sport. I can feel it. I can really feel it, and I can relate to that. And if you all love drifting, like she said, come and watch it in person. It is not the same. Watching it online, being there and seeing it physically, being a part of it, it's an experience. It's a sensory experience, experiencing the vibrations from the engines. Like she was saying, the smell of the tires. It is an experience like no other. And like you're seeing here at the Speed Games Arena, we have our drift taxis, so you can actually experience it in person. And there's no better way of experiencing drifting than this. And as you can see there, they are having a lot of fun there. Going around with that lovely little figure of 8 layout. Just having a bit of fun. Some casual fun drifting there. That's what we like to see. But now we get prepared for our battle for third and final. As we have a nice look at what's going on. We can see that the crowd is starting to build up as we have one of our Merlot heavy hauler equipment just cleaning the track, making sure that everything's nice and tidy and we don't have some crazy marbling going on, as that can disrupt the flow of the cars quite a bit. As you can see there, we've got quite a few cars there at the Speed Games arena to try out and passenger with. Really cool little paddock there. So yeah, once again, if you really want to experience drifting, this is the perfect time and the perfect place to do it. And you can see there, FMIC EU have a gazebo there. Also, and as you can see, I mean, I would love to have the chance to do drift taxis on an airstrip. That'd be a lot of fun. But here we go. Your battle for third is going to be right now with Bartolomej in the chase in that M2 F22 BMW number 72. They call me MF Doom. I'm great at rhyming. But we do have Maximilian in the lead in that S14A. So two amazing drivers, two very different cars. Who is going to be taking the first podium spot of round 2? Let's see as the lights go green. Maximilian now going through the chicane. Bartolomej in the chase, getting nice and close there. Going through outer 1, transitioning into 2. Bartolomej right there on the door. Maximilian, look at that proximity from that M2 as they come around into outer 4, doing a nice job so far, losing a bit of proximity in the chase. Has to try and build it back up as they transition now around into 5 and across the line. Definitely not a bad run between the two of them. Bartolomej getting crazy good proximity from this transition. As you can see there, gets ready to find the pocket and just snaps around and gets into that pocket almost from wheel to front wheel there. But as he comes around into out 4, does lose a lot of his proximity, and this is where he has to fight to get it back into that pocket. Maximilian though doing a good job in the lead. Once again, unfortunately though, just still not as deep as he could be on a lot of these clips and zones. As you can see there, doing through 5. So we'll have to see what happens when we flip him back around. But here we go, Maximilian in the lead, in the chase. Bartolomej now in the lead. Just making sure that they're both ready to go. With the leaf blower leaving the car. Honestly, that is a lifesaver when you're in drifting. But here we go. Going into who's going to be taking third place. Bartolomej in the lead. Maximilian in the chase. Big snappy transition there between the two of them. Almost getting caught on each other as they come around now into outside zone 4. Doing a really good job though between the two of them, recovering this run as they come around and transition over towards outside zone 5. Maximilian losing a bit of proximity there at the end. So as you can see, Bartolomej doing a nice job in outside zone 1, maybe just hulking on a little bit for that. Just had a little bit of a blip. But we are back. Not too sure what happened. But the battle between Bartolomej and Maximilian, what a battle that was. So we are once again back. Apologies for that little hiccup there. Just had a couple of technical difficulties. But we are back. And that battle between Bartolomej and Maximilian was crazy. So we have them at the results area. Who is going to be getting the third place? Maximilian getting third place at round 2 of DMP 2025, the Polish Drift Championship here at Katowice. Bartolomej getting fourth. He is just stoked to be there.
Max Miękoś z nami. Max, no być może dużo osób nie wie, ale ile tych treningów było przed sezonem? Przypomnij.
Przedsezonowo 600 przejazdów w parach.
Teraz chwaliłeś się, że pomiędzy pierwszą a drugą rundą było 30 dni mniej więcej.
60.
Mieliśmy. Ile? Poczekaj.
Nie, dni, tak?
No, dni między rundami było około 30, bo to tak miesiąc minął. Ile zrobiłeś przejazdów treningowych?
60.
No to chyba widać, nie? I czuć.
Dokładnie, tak.
Słuchaj, no ta runda w Katowicach, rozmawialiśmy o tym, że z jednej strony bardzo techniczna, z drugiej strony bardzo wymagająca, ale chyba oddaje jednak, co?
Zgadza się, ja lubię techniczne tory.
No to było widać w tym przejeździe. Widzieliśmy też, że chyba wiedziałeś już, że ten werdykt będzie na twoją stronę.
Nie byłem pewien do końca.
No dobrze, kochany, wiemy jak sytuacja wygląda w generalce, pozostaje nam trzymać kciuki za kolejne rundy. Widzimy się na rundzie numer 3 na jednym z najszybszych torów w stawce.
Zgadza się.
Dzięki wielkie, do zobaczenia.
Dziękuję, do zobaczenia.
So there you go, Maximilian moving into third place. Getting his first podium of the season. So big congratulations to Maximilian. And Bartolomej obviously doing a really good fight there. Welcome everyone to the final of round 2 in the semi-pro class of DMP 2025 at Katowice. We have got 2 amazing drivers here. We've got Dariusz Malaczynski in that S15 with 700 horsepower in the Indigo Sponsored Motorsport S15, with Patrick Detmer in that E36, looking absolutely crazy. Obviously, he was our round 1 winner, so he's going to be wanting to take the top spot. As you can see there, he has the Autobot logo on the side of his car. I've only just noticed that. But here we go. Patrick Detmer is going to be fighting to get this one. He wants to get the points and get a lead on through the rest of the season. But here we go. The lights go green. Patrick Detmer in the lead. What can we see between these 2 drivers? But look at this. A nice initiation between Patrick. But look at this. Going nice and deep into outside zone 2. But look at the proximity from the S15 as they come around in towards outside zone 4 now. Can he keep the proximity? Yes, he can. He gets the dive onto the side of Patrick Detmer, but loses a bit of ground as they come around the exit of outside zone 4, transitioning across now towards 5. Lovely driving there between the 2 of these drivers. Absolutely textbook between the 2 of them. Patrick Detmer doing a crazy initiation as they come around into 2. Could have been a bit closer in the chase at the start there, but almost taking the back of Patrick's car out as they come around into outside zone 4. Doing a very nice job there, keeping it nice and wide, opening up for the chase. Just not the best proximity coming through there, having to try and catch up. And obviously going through out zone 5, there was a gap that formed. So Patrick's spotter will be notifying him of everything that did happen in that run. Obviously you can see that Patrick just being a happy chap as always. Now Darius in the lead in that S15. Here we go, your final run of the semi-pro class at round 2. Let's get it. Here we go, Darius in the lead, Patrick Detmer in the chase, lovely through outside zone 1. Nice transition between the two in out of 2. Now we come around to out of 3, lovely stuff, keeping it nice and clean so far. Patrick Detmer just doing what he needs to do. Darius doing a good job on the lead though so far as we come around to exit of out of zone 4. Patrick Detmer is right there, coming across outside zone 5 and across the line. Absolutely textbook between the two of these. A very, very tidy run. Hardly any mistakes made between the two of them. As you can see there, nice fulfillment of outside zone 2. Patrick Detmer getting ready for the dive into 3. Could have been a bit better in the lead there on 3. But as they come around into 4, Patrick sees the opportunity and just follows him in nice and tight. Matthew's doing a good. Darius, is it Darius? Sorry, my memory is awful. But as you can see there, the lead doing an absolutely textbook lead there through 4 to 5. What a way to finish the round 2 semi-pro. But once again, there can be only one winner. Who is going to be your winner of round 2 of the 2025 DMP Polish Drift Championship Katowice round? That is the question. It's going to be, look at them, they're absolutely stoked to be there, having a great time. This is what it's all about. It's about having fun. And if you get results, happy days. That's what you want. Just waiting on our judges to deliberate who's going to be winning. Is it Patrick or Darius? Patrick Detmer getting 2 wins back to back here at round 2 at Katowice. He is your semi-pro winner at round 2. So that's 2 rounds on the go. As you can see, he's going to be absolutely stoked, but Camel is going to be sat here with him, and we're going to get a quick interview and a couple of words for our round 2 winner. Patrick Detmer, take a bow.
Patryk Detmer z nami. No cóż, po pierwsze gratulacje, po drugie no chyba opanowany ten tor. Komentatorzy mówili, że no widać, że chyba się z nim bardzo zaprzyjaźniłeś.
No, początki nie były łatwe, ponieważ problemy z autem i to wszystko powodowało, że to nie było wcale takie oczywiste, że będziemy stać teraz, gdzie stoimy. Także super, bardzo się cieszę, że ja i mój team daliśmy radę. Pokonaliśmy usterki, które nas od piątku prześladowały, no i zrobiliśmy to.
Słuchaj, bo to tak, jeszcze musimy wspomnieć trochę o tej stawce, która bardzo nam się wyrównała, no bo umówmy się, czy spodziewałbyś się przed tą rundą, że z Darkiem Malaczyńskim będziesz ścigał się tutaj w finale?
Nie, i właśnie Dariuszowi mówiłem, że bardzo dobry lead z jego strony, był bardzo przewidywalny, można było się wczuć w tą jego jazdę, naprawdę szacun i myślę, że to był pojedynek, który zasługiwał na finał.
No na pewno, ale widać było też, że no masz tutaj patent na ten tor, że czujesz się tutaj jak ryba w wodzie. Jeszcze raz wielkie gratulacje, no i co, do zobaczenia na 3. rundzie.
Dziękuję bardzo i dziękuję też również kibicom, bo to dzięki ich dopingowi to wszystko tak właśnie wygląda.
No, atmosfera tutaj w Katowicach nieziemska.
Jasne, jest super.
And there we have it. Patrick Detmer, your winner of round 2 of DMP 2025 semi-pro. And he is looking very emotional, very hot, very, very tired. Very hard fought bracket for Patrick there. And massive congratulations to Patrick and our other 2 finalists. So you've got Darius getting 2nd place. And then you have Maximilian getting 3rd place. What a round it has been so far. But that is not the end to our weekend, as we still have the pro class shortly coming up, so make sure you stay tuned and tune in to the pro top 32, as we will be going ahead in about 30 minutes, give or take, at around 10 to 2 Polish time. So we'll see you then.